Cyrus the Great was the founder and prominent ruler of the Persian Empire. During that time, the Babylonian Empire was one of the most powerful kingdoms in the Middle East, and its capital, Babylon, was known as a captivating center of civilization. Cyrus's conquest of Babylon was a significant event in ancient world history. With a formidable army, Cyrus arrived at the gates of Babylon. At that time, Babylon was surrounded by strong fortifications. However, through Cyrus's military strategy and the siege of Babylon, the city began to fall. Traditionally, during the conquest of Babylon, the city's inhabitants and rulers opened the city gates and surrendered to Cyrus's army. This indicated that there was no major battle within the city. The surrender of the people of Babylon allowed Cyrus to add the city and its territories to his empire and bring together different cultures. The conquest of Babylon allowed the Persian Empire to expand and gain control over a significant portion of the Middle East. Cyrus's capture of Babylon was a pivotal moment in history that altered the boundaries of empires and led to major political changes. In 1492, the Italian explorer of Genoese origin, Christopher Columbus, led an expedition financed by the Spanish government. His goal was to find a new sea route to the west to reach India. On October 12, 1492, the crew of Columbus's ship, the Pinta, first set foot on the island of San Salvador in the Caribbean region, now known as the Bahamas. This marked Christopher Columbus and his crew's documented first voyage from Europe to the Americas. This event is recognized as the starting point for the European discovery of the Americas. In subsequent years, this discovery led to the exploration and colonization of the American continent by major European powers. The discovery of the Americas brought about significant historical, cultural, and geographical changes, initiating cultural interactions between the Western and the New World. Therefore, October 12, 1492, holds great historical significance, and Columbus's landing in the Americas is considered the beginning of what is now celebrated as Columbus Day. In 1775, the establishment of the United States Navy is a significant historical event. On this date, the Second Continental Congress formally established the Continental Navy, which is recognized as America's first naval force. This was done with the purpose of safeguarding and supporting American interests at sea during the American Revolutionary War. The establishment of the Navy aimed to enhance America's maritime capabilities and its ability to defend independence. It facilitated the construction of warships and the execution of naval operations, which played a vital role in the American Revolutionary War. The creation of the United States Navy was a crucial part of America's struggle for independence, laying the foundation for the nation's naval power. Today, the U.S. Navy is considered one of the world's largest and most powerful naval forces. At the outset of World War II, Italy had joined the Axis powers, along with Germany and Japan. Italian leader Benito Mussolini aligned with Germany in 1940, becoming a part of this alliance. However, as the war progressed, Italy suffered a series of defeats, and public support for the war waned. Then, in 1943, the Allies invaded Sicily, bringing Italy to the brink of a major conflict. Mussolini's government weakened, and on July 25, 1943, King Victor Emmanuel III removed Mussolini from office. Subsequently, a new government was formed, and Italy chose to break away from Germany and align itself with the Allied powers. On September 8, 1943, Italy signed an armistice agreement with the Allies. As a result, Italy declared war on Germany and began collaborating with the Allies. This event was a significant turning point for Italy, as it allowed the Allies to use Italy as a front against Germany. Italy changing sides in the war had a profound impact on the outcome of the conflict, accelerating the Allied advance on the European front. The year 1307 marks a critical turning point in the history of the Knights Templar, a highly influential and mysterious medieval knightly order. The Knights Templar were initially established as a religious and military order tasked with protecting Christian pilgrims in the Holy Land and supporting the spread of Christianity. However, in the early 14th century, the Knights Templar began to face increased scrutiny and criticism from the governments and the Church in many European countries. In 1307, King Philip IV of France, often known as Philip the Fair, grew wary of the power of the Knights Templar and decided to take action against them. On October 13, 1307, King Philip IV and his officers carried out a widespread arrest of the Knights Templar. During these arrests, many knights were subjected to torture, and confessions were extracted. This event marked the beginning of the downfall of the Knights Templar and the start of their demise. The fall of the Knights Templar became a subject of intense debate and mystery during the era. The order's assets and lands were seized, and the Templar Order was officially dissolved. This event represents a significant historical turning point, reflecting shifts in power dynamics in medieval Europe and the influence of the church and monarchies. In 1792, construction officially began on the White House in Washington, D.C., which serves as the capital of the United States. On this date, the foundation of the White House was laid, and it was George Washington, the first president of the United States, who performed the ceremonial task of laying the cornerstone. The White House serves as the official residence of the president and the working place of the government. The construction of the White House became a symbol of the American independence movement and was designed to be the central hub of the newly established federal government. When completed, the White House started serving as the official residence of American presidents and as the center for conducting government affairs. The White House has become one of the national symbols of the United States and is recognized worldwide. Each American president resides in the White House during their term and conducts state affairs from this iconic building. Therefore, the laying of the White House's cornerstone on October 13, 1792, signifies the beginning of the United States Government Center, and this date is celebrated annually as President's Day. The Battle of Hastings is one of the most famous and pivotal battles in English history. It took place on October 14, 1066, near the town of Hastings in present-day East Sussex, England. The conflict was fought between the English army, led by King Harold II of England, and the Norman forces, led by Duke William of Normandy, who would later become known as William the Conqueror. The battle was the culmination of a series of events and rival claims to the English throne. When King Edward the Confessor of England died in January 1066, several claimants vied for the throne. One of the most significant challengers was William, Duke of Normandy, who believed he had a legitimate claim to the English crown. The Battle of Hastings began with the Norman forces launching an attack on the English army, which had taken a defensive position on a hill. The fighting was intense and brutal, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Tragically, King Harold II was killed during the battle, which greatly affected the morale of the English forces. Ultimately, the Normans emerged victorious, marking a turning point in English history. With William's victory at Hastings, he became William the Conqueror Went. The Battle of Hastings is significant because it reshaped the political and social landscape of England, introducing Norman influences into the English language, legal system, and architecture. It also marked the end of the Anglo-Saxon era and the beginning of Norman rule in England. President Theodore Roosevelt was assassinated during a campaign speech in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. During the assassination attempt, Roosevelt was shot in the chest. However, the remarkable aspect of the incident is that Theodore Roosevelt not only survived the attack but also continued his speech despite being shot. Known for his extraordinary resilience and courage during that period, Roosevelt took the stage even after being shot and delivered the speech he had planned. Upon realizing that he was wounded, Roosevelt began his speech with the words, "Friends, I shall ask you to be as quiet as possible. I don't know whether you fully understand that I have just been shot." This bold stance had a significant impact on the audience, emphasizing Roosevelt's determination. Later, Roosevelt completed his speech and downplayed the shooting incident as a mere inconvenience. The bullet lodged in his chest could have been dangerous if left untreated, but considering the medical capabilities of that era, Roosevelt's survival and his ability to continue his campaign were considered remarkable achievements. Theodore Roosevelt was a prominent figure in American politics, and this incident stands as a significant memory highlighting his determination and leadership abilities in history. China had actively engaged in efforts to develop nuclear weapons since the late 1950s. On October 15, 1964, China conducted its first nuclear test. This test marked China's inaugural nuclear explosion. The detonation of the nuclear bomb demonstrated China's nuclear capabilities and was considered a pivotal step in this direction. This event garnered significant global attention. China's nuclear test provoked a substantial international response. Within the context of the international rivalry of the Cold War, this test complicated relations with other nuclear powers, such as the United States and the Soviet Union. China's nuclear test in 1964 was a pivotal event that influenced the dynamics of international relations during the Cold War. It officially showcased China's nuclear capabilities and emphasized the role of nuclear weapons in global politics. Furthermore, the test increased concerns about nuclear proliferation, impacting international efforts towards nuclear arms control. China's nuclear test is widely regarded as a significant milestone in international politics and added complexity to the Cold War era.